Hello and welcome to another practical video tutorial. And in this tutorial, we are going to talk again hacking Instagram profiles or Instagram accounts. And for this scenario, we are going to use a brute force attempt, basically employing a word list that we will create against the Instagram account login page and then hopefully get access to the Instagram account. So first of all, before we begin, I should tell you that this should be only for testing purposes and you shouldn't do it in the wild. This is just a proof of concept and of course it's illegal to do it otherwise. So that being said, let's just mention that hacking the social medias is really becoming harder and harder. And for the last several maybe years, the social medias like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they're all realized that they are working with a very sensitive data, personal information, and they actually invested a lot of time and effort and skills into security. And nowadays, these social media platforms are pretty secured, and it's really hard to actually find a hole or a entry point to hack them. And therefore, uh, there are tools and ways to actually hack the people behind these accounts. Because even though the technology grows and these social media are actually employing really strong security measures, the people that are using those social media, they remain on pretty much the same level as per security awareness. And therefore, it will be probably easier to try and social engineer the person you're trying to hack's account instead of actually trying to hack the Instagram platform itself. That's why we are going to look at several different tools for actually generating passwords and password lists. And those lists will then be used with another tool to actually attempt and log in into Instagram. For the purpose of this video, we are going to use again our virtual machine, Kali Linux. I've downloaded it from the website. I have a virtual box running on my host and started Kali Linux. I haven't done any changes to it and haven't installed anything um, that's additional to it. And if the tools we're going to use, some of them will be actually from GitHub, and I'm going to show you how to find these tools and how to download them. So basically, first of all, we will begin with tools that are already integrated into Kali. And for that purpose, we are going to start the terminal. Now, there are two ways to get to these tools. One would be from the applications list. You will have to go to password tags and you can see all of the tools that Kali already provides beforehand here listed. There are offline attacks, which are something that you can run on the machine locally. Online attacks that would actually be requiring internet connection. Passing the hash attacks, something that we are not looking at this point. This could be, for example, used, as you can see, maybe if you're familiar with Mimikatz, these are actually tools that will usually be used against Windows password database. And then password profiling and word list, which we have Q, Crunch, others here. Then some of the mostly used are actually extracted here into the upper menu. And of course, there is already a word list provided by Kali. Oh, sorry, provided by Kali here. Several word lists, to be honest. So one way would be started from here. And the first tool we are going to look is Crunch. But as you can see, the terminal window is really small, so I'll just do it from the original made terminal. So to start Crunch, first of all, you need to just type Crunch. It's already there. Just hit Enter, and you will be able to see the basic help menu for Crunch. So if you want to get a bigger help menu, the way is just to use man, because for some reason Crunch, I think Crunch double dash help doesn't really give you much different than just Crunch. But if you do man, it will give you a more detailed menu of Crunch. So we are going to look at Crunch and we are going to look on how to use it, and I'll just give you several examples of it and what this tool can create. Basically, Crunch is a tool for generating password lists. As you can see, the help menu here we have the command, minimum length of passwords, maximum length of passwords, a char set string that you'll be using, and you can also add options additionally. So here are the options, B a number, C a number, and you give it, for example, with minus B number, you give it a type. Um, there is also minus T that will allow you to add the specific pattern you want. For example, this would be one. So there is a lot of usage of Crunch, so we can start looking at it. And let's first of all start with a very simple password creation. Let's say just 2, which will be the minimum length, and 4 will be the maximum length, and hit enter. And Crunch will generate a file. Oh, actually, it's going to put them into the screen at the moment, but you can point it to a file that would be actually containing between 2 and 4 uh, digits, letters of password. So let's just use it with an output file, passwords.txt. And now we can read that file. Let's see what we have there. So you can see it's using only letters, and it's starting with 2 in combination, and then it moves to 4. And that's pretty much what we have with that list. So if you want to use it with numbers, for example, or digits, you can do the following thing. Let me just remove the passwords file. That's again very basic. Let's just say like this, and then minus O, numeric.txt. Let's see what we'll have generated. This would be actually providing it with a pattern. So less numeric. And we have a list of possible passwords between 2 and 4 characters with only numbers, as we provided only numbers. So the next thing we will do, I can let me show you an example of actually using numbers and letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, for example. This will create a combination. It is going to have 88,000 lines, and let's just read that one. You can see that we have now a combination of 9 and F, 9 and G, 8, 9. All of these are generated here, and we will have some more letters here. So we have, of course, only numbers, but we have like this one, but we also have a situation where we have a letter. So that's pretty neat, and of course you can, as I said, use it with a pattern if you like to. So let me just show you a command that you can use to actually generate it with a pattern. But before we move to a pattern, I want to show you another thing that you can find useful. That would be, let me just use it with letters. Now, if we do it like this, let me show you what file it's going to create. It's starting with A, B, and so on. Uh, the other thing you can do is actually do it with -I, which will invert the pattern. And let me just run it like this, and I'll show you the differences. Oops. Okay, instead of AB, we have BA, and it's pretty much going that way uh, to the end of the file. So basically, what -C does, there is a good example here in the help menu. If you, for example, have a pattern with double A, B, C, when you use -E for invert, it's going to change the B to BAA, and so on and so forth. So another good thing to show some, some variety with your password generation. So the other thing we can do is use the -T That will allow you to specify a pattern. And you can use at, which will insert lowercase characters, a comma, which will insert uppercase characters, a percentage. Let me just show this to you. So at will insert lowercase characters, comma will insert uppercase characters, percentage will insert numbers, and that symbol will insert symbols. So let me just show you an example of a command here. So we use crunch, let's say 1010, and now minus t. So now we provide it with a pattern we want. So let's say our pattern would be starting with lowercase characters, couple of them, and then let's say we'll add some numbers, but let's say that we have a specific number from someone's date of birth. So let's just use 10th of, I don't know, or 12th of August, for example. And then again, couple of letters. And we want also to add, for example, two symbols. Now, what would that be? Let me just show that out into a file. Passwords.txt. This is going to take some time because, as you can see here, it is going to create a lot of results, actually 497 million results. That's going to be a huge file. So it will take some time, and it's giving you a progress here, which tells you how much of the file is already created, how much of a file is going to be. It's going to be 5 gigabytes of file, and you have, of course, the information in megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and petabytes, depending on the size of the pattern you want. I'm not sure how that work with petabytes. Probably the app, the application might also crash from generating that much of information, but still, it is possible, and they have it here as a informational, printout. So I can pause the video here and get back to you when we are finished with the generation of the passwords with this tool. Now that this list is finally created, let me just show you how it looks and what we have inside of it. So let me just read that one. This is an example. We have lowercase two letters. We have those digits that we know from the social engineering attack. We have those letters again, and then we have two symbols as we actually wanted when we set up the actual generation of the password. So let's just make some changes, and for example, let's just add two capital letters to this list. We will have to create a new attack. Let me just remove that passwords and in numeric, and maybe just numeric as well. So now if we want to do the same attack, but instead of having lowercase, maybe at the end we want to have uppercase letters. So we're going to use comma. We're just basically going to add two commas to the password list, to the actual pattern that we provide. We'll use the same digits as before. We will use the same length. Maybe just lower the length so it will be easier to quickly to be generated. But when you are setting up the minimum and the maximum of the password length, make sure you add enough characters for this kind of pattern. If I, for example, now if I add, let's say, minimum of 5 and maximum of 7, and I already have we have 10 here, 10 characters, this will fail. And it's going to tell me that the maximum and minimum should be the same size as the pattern. So if you are going to lower the size, like I'm just going to do that, let's just remove some of these. So let's just use the month, one lowercase letter. Let's just use one uppercase letter and two symbols. And now we have, what's that, 6. So we can use 6 and 7 as our minimum and maximum length. And now if I hit enter, uh, oh yeah, I'll need to use that again to set it up to 6, of course. So now if I hit enter, it's just going to generate these files, or this file. And it's going to be really small. In this case, it's going to be 4 megabytes. So let's just look at it and quickly review that one. We have one lowercase letter, 2 digits, those that we specified, uh, one uppercase letter, and the 2 symbols that we added. So next thing we can do is, instead of specifying those particular digits, we can use percentage. But first of all, let me remove the passwords list. And then we can use, again, as I said, percentage instead of the actual digits. And let's see what this would do. Hit enter. It's going to be 491 megabytes. A lot bigger than that because we have more digits here, not just 0, 8 to play with. We have all the digits here to play with. So it's pretty fast though, even though it's running in a virtual machine, and it could be slower. I mean, it's not a really powerful machine. It's still doing it well. I think it's more CPU intensive, so keep that in mind when you're running that. And now if we read the list, or just use head to read the list now, this is what we have. And now if we look further, we'll see that there are more digits than just double zeros. So let's just pass that part with the ace and the alphabet behind that, which you can see H, I, J, K, L is going just through the alphabet. And any second now we're going to go to any other digits. Okay, now we have 0, 1, as you see here. So it's going to iterate all the possible combinations for this kind of pattern, and it's going to generate that file that we want to have here. And this is something that you can use. Those parameters you can use to actually generate passwords based on the social engineering attack that you did against that user, or against that profile you're actually trying and you want to hack into. Apart from that, there are some other functionality that you can go with Crunch. So let me just show you that. It's user share Crunch. And now if we list, we have the char set list. So you can actually run Crunch with char sets, and it provides the feature where you can generate a list using a specific char set, like this one. And if you know that your target is using the password of 7 alphanumeric characters, you can generate a list of the possibilities in Crunch. And let me just give you that example. Let me read that file, char set. Here is the char set list. So, for example, hex to lower. This is something that's probably been useful. Let's just run a simple example and I'll show you what I mean. So let's just use 8 for the minimum and maximum. Then we are going to employ the char set. So crunch char set list. Um, First of all, let me just go back to the folder I was. So crunch 88 minus f user share crunch char set list. Now you provide it with the actual char set you're going to use. So we are going to try, let me just see. Let's try with this one, U alpha. And I'll put it to U alpha.txt. Okay, let's hit enter. This is going to be huge. It's going to be 1.7 terabytes. So it's too big, and I'm just going to stop it at some point because I don't have that space on this machine. Actually, I'm not sure what space do I have here. Not that much. available are, yeah, 3 gigabytes, so that's not cool. I'll give it a couple of more seconds and then I'll stop it and see if what we have. So since I stopped it, it didn't manage to produce anything as a password list. So maybe we can, we can't really use a smaller uh, password list because there are actually 8 in the U alpha, and that's the we need to have more space when you're doing this kind of attack. Password lists are usually big and take a lot of space because there are actually a combination of a lot of passwords. So that's being crunched, and let's move to the other tool we are going to look at. Again, I shouldn't have closed that. We're going to use the mate terminal. The next tool that we are going to look is actually Q. That could be found here. The password attacks, and you can see we have Q here. Again, a smaller window. So that's why I'm just going to use the mate terminal here. So let's just try it and run it here. Q minus H will give you some help. And of course, what Q does is essentially it's scrolling a website and taking specified size of words and characters there from that website and putting them into a probable list of passwords. So here's the help menu. You can, of course, uh, minus H, you can run the help. There is a min password length. Of course, you can use the default is 3. Offsite, let the spider visit other sites. We actually meaning that it will start following links. We don't want that if we, depending on what we are doing, but we're going to run a quick test. We don't want to go any further than that. Write the output basically. Of course, some sites have some protection and are looking for bot Python based user agents, and in this case you can provide it with your custom user agent. For example, it can pretend to be Firefox or Chrome browser. Don't output the word list, it's just going to crawl it, and other information here that you can use. Some authentication type, basic authentication. There's of course the possibility to run it through proxy. You understand of course that this tool is going to generate a lot of noise when it's crawling a website. And of course, if for example we're crawling a uh, Instagram user profile and we don't want to make that much of a noise and be that visible to Instagram, we can pass that through proxy. So you can use, as you can see here, proxy port, proxy host. You can use that with Tor or Prevoxy with Tor, depending on what you want to do. So that's about the help. And there is a very basic command that you can use with Q to actually run a crawler. So just run Q minus W to actually output the files here, and to actually for this crawling demonstration, I'm just going to use the Enforce Cyber website. Let's just see, download it here to passwords. Um, Minus D would be the depth I want to go into, depending on how many links deep it's going to follow. So I'm just going to go with 5, for example. The M for the minimum word list would be, let's just use 7. And then let's just use for a address HTTPS. I use that one. Hit enter. Couldn't hit the site. Yeah, I was trying to access it over HTTP, so I had to change the command a little bit. So that's the command. Just provide it with the full path HTTPS and so on and so on and so on with the slash at the end. And now let me just remove the passwords file again. And now if I run that, you can see that it starts. And in the meantime, we can see if it's creating a file here. There is a passwords file which is still empty, but the tool is running. So one option would be if I'm if I'm happy that this is running, let's say for 15 minutes, which is strangely a lot of time, but let's just say I don't want to go that deep, or I don't want to waste that much time, and I just want to move on to the actual password list. I can stop that, and the cool part is that it is supposed to generate a password list at the time that I've stopped it. As you can see here, when I first time run it, it says hold on, stopping here, and it generated a list already. But of course I deleted it and run it again so that I can show it to you guys how it's actually running. So I'll give it a couple of more seconds to uh, com actually compile a bigger file, and I'll stop it in a minute. Alright, I think that's enough. Let's just stop that here. It's going to take some time to create the file. Now it should start putting information into the file. Yep, it's 4 kilobytes of file. Let's see what we have. Um, Passwords. This is what it was able to collect as 7-letter or 7-character words from that website. And this is the password list that it was able to generate from that. So as you can see here, let me just see how many are those passwords. 316 passwords for maybe a minute or so of running against the website, and that's not really a dynamic website with a lot of other links and a lot of information. It's really focused on security. So if you point that against a user profile or something like that, it's probably going to generate a lot more information, a lot more options for you to test. And that's one of the best things about Q, because it's actually using online information. That's why I said that here in the password attacks we have offline tools, and of course we have online tools. And to use Q you have to be online. To be honest, you won't be able to run it if you don't have a target to use. So that's pretty much it about Q. Of course there is you can use an email file so that it will actually include an email address, meta file to output file for more data if you want to. There is a lot of functionality. Again, as I said, user agent is available here. Uh, Show the count if you want to, of course. Verbose. In some cases, for example, the first time when I ran it um, like this, and it failed, and I don't know what's happening because it's supposed to run. So let me just remove the passwords file. If you want to type -v for verbose, and it's going to give you information that offsite link following, not following, because we didn't say to follow. So it says that basically our website is using HTTPS when it's trying to access it over HTTP, and that's why it wasn't able to follow it. If I use -o, theoretically this should work, but it's going to get even bigger because it's then going to follow links that are off the other side. Yep, it started working as you can see here. With verbose, it's producing a lot more information, and it's giving you the, let me just pause that. It's giving you the actual link that it is following. It's getting the response code from the web server, basically that is 200, which means that the web page is served, and it's looking for that response code. If it's 404, of course, it's not going to index anything. We don't want to see error messages used as a word list. So, of course, it found the attribute text. Here is the text that it found. It splits that to words and just use it for the creation of the word file, the word list file. So that's pretty much about Q. And the next thing we are going to use in this demonstration will be cup, and I'm going to show you how to download it and where to download it from. First of all, to begin downloading cup, we need to passwords. We need to download it and get it from GitHub. So let me just open the GitHub page and show you where to find that. Applications, Internet, Firefox. You just use to search download cup. It's going to give you different results, but probably you'll get it to a GitHub. It's by Mebius, so click on that one. This is the actual repository here. We have the requirements. Needs to use running. There are some Python 3 requirements to run cup, and so on and so forth. So we should have that Python already in Kali. I'm just going to copy that GitHub link um, and use git clone, paste that here, and happily it's going to clone the repository. So now if I use to move to that folder, copy license, okay, so I don't see any other requirements. Let me see the readme file. No, I don't see any requirements, just need Python 3. So let's just run copy and it's printing out the help menu if you run it just like this. So it's basically telling you -h for help, -i for interactive mode, -w with a file name to record and keep the files. You can use it, as you can see here, this option to uh, basically improve the existing dictionary. L for download huge word list from repository, so on. You can actually use the repository with word lists. Parse default username and password directly from the AlectoDB and version and so on. Basically, in this case, what cup is, it is more focused on the actual social engineering part. So if you are targeting a profile on Instagram, if it's not completely locked profile, you will probably have the name of the person by looking at their pictures and social engineering them, researching this person. You're going to get to their name, to their probably their birth date. Maybe if they have a um, girlfriend or a boyfriend, you have their information as well. Perhaps some nicknames, as much as you can get. If they have a kid or a pet or whatever you think of. So to use cup, we are going to go with the interactive mode. And let me just show you how the interactive mode of cup works. First of all, to start that, you just type the command, which is cup, cup -c. So the idea here is that cup is going to interrogate you and get this information from you. And first of all, it's looking for, now insert the information about your victim to make a dictionary. So it's asking for a name. And let's say that the person that I'm looking for is called John. The surname is Doe. Now he might have a nickname. So Johnny would be too obvious. Let's just use something else like, I don't know, Don Corleone. And then his birth date, if you have that information, will be very useful. Now I'll use, let's say, 15th of August 1980. You should keep that convention here, so just a note. Hit enter. Do we know his parents? Let's just say that his father is called Don. Um, his nickname would be, I don't know, Little Don, for example. Birth date would be, let's just say, 18th of April 1975. And then, sorry, that was partners, not parents, my bad. But okay, so we have a gay couple, that's okay. So the child name, that would be, let's say, Lily. Nickname will be Trouble. And her birth date would be, I don't know, maybe 2000, let's see, then 12th of March 2005. So hit enter. Do those guys have a pet? Well, let's say they have a dog called uh, Jack, and does this person work in a company or something like that? So in this case, let's just use CNN. He works in CNN. Do you want to add some more keywords? Now, if you have some more information about the victim, if you that's not of course listed here, or something else that you have, just add yes. And there is an example of the words separated by commas. So, for example, he could be a hacker. He likes Jews. He's black. He's white. I don't know, anything like that. So here we are going to, let's say, add some additional words. We know he works in security. Just use comma instead of spaces, and spaces will be removed, so just no need to put them there. He works in security, and what else? He's a big fan of BMW. Um, yeah, maybe that's enough, and then hit enter. You can, of course, if you know this person to be using, or to I don't know, if you expect them to use special characters, you can add this at the end of the words. But let's say no for this one. Do you want to add a random numbers at the end of the words? This is again just some sort of possibility, so we'll use again no. Lead mode, that would mean that there is an example, a good example here. Lead would be converting some of the letters into digits that would be representing the actual letter. So for example, lead would be translated into 1337. If you there are a lot of people using that kind of writing, so if this person is into that, and you can probably tell from his or her posts, uh, you can figure it out and just add it as a function here. That's really nice. Just hit no for now. So now making a dictionary, sorting the list, removing duplicates, saving the dictionary. We have a john.txt. It has 12,915 words. Okay, so now we're gonna read that file and see what we have here. Let's just. So we have some dates here listed. Simple as that. Probably they use just the numbers. There are a lot of people that they use just the number of their date of birth, and that's their password at all. So the BMW fan comes here. Some dates again, combinations. There is an underscore, of course, could be used. So there is a surname with the dates again. You can see that it ran through most of these possibilities and created a nice word list that could be used with these details that we've provided. And that's pretty much what it does. This is how uh, Cup works. It's, as I said, more socially engineering focused than the actual generating of a specific word list with parameters, which would be pretty basic. That's why we're looking at this tool as well as we looked at the other tools, to have some diversity and to see some other options. So the next tool that we are going to look after Cup is going to be Mentalist. Let me just show you how to find Mentalist again. Oh, I shouldn't have closed that again. Um, where is that? System tools, made terminal. So Mentalist is on GitHub as well. So just search the GitHub. Um, no, we're not searching the GitHub, but we're searching that repository. So Mentalist. Let me see if it can find it here. Yeah, it did. So the one we need is the first one from Scott Free. Just click on that one. Word is password cracking. See, that pretty much shows what it is focused on. Just copy that uh, Git repository link. So just use git clone, paste that here. It's going to clone that one. This is how the interface looks like. Let's see if there are some dependencies here. I don't see any. I think it's again Python based, of course. So um, maybe not run. Okay, just yeah, it is. It is Python based. So let me see the README file. Nothing special here. What we move to the mentalist folder, we have controller POI. I think we need to go through that setup POI. Let's just try that one. Python setup POI install. Okay, so now if we use mentalist just like that, only works with Python 3. Okay, that's user local bin. Uh, okay, it's user local bin mentalist. So Python user local bin mentalist. Uh, Python 3. So there are some dependency here. Let me see if we have them information. Audits, release notes. Maybe I did it wrong with that setup py install. Maybe that would work. Okay, so now mentalist. Yeah, that was my mistake. I installed it using Python 2.7 something. I think that's the default one in Kali, and I should have done it with the version 3 because it's using version 3. And to be honest, most of the tools already started moving towards version 3. So more and more tools would require version 3 in the future. Just keep that in mind. So what we have here. First of all, we need to load a file with base words. Now click here, use custom file, and folder we are looking at would be the root folder that I'm in, and let me find the file that we want. That's going to be let me see, did we remove that file? Yeah. Okay, we removed that file, so we're going to create a new one. Just use copy minus I. Uh, so there it is. John Doe. Um, what was it? Corleone. 050188. Partner Mary. Nickname Barry. Um, 0404 1990. And then child would be Jesse. Uh, Trouble. And then 1706 2005. Pet's name would be Richie. Company name would be, what was it, CNN. And then no no special characters. Don't. Now we have the John TXT file, and let me just get back here. Root. Now John TXT John. Yeah, my bad. It's in cups. Sorry, in cup. There it is, John TXT. So the English dictionary, we can remove that for now. So the file we are working with is actually having 7,566 words. So what you can do now is add a, for example, case, and the case could be lowercase, and add that. This will lowercase uh, all the words, and then you can add, of course, I think they were probably lowercase, but anyway, you can toggle numbers. Then what you can add additionally would be substitution, replace all instances, or first instance of a with at, and then click that OK. A prepend here, so you can add word numbers, let's say basic numbers. You can see that the estimated total word size growing on here, so it's actually getting bigger and bigger. We started with 7,000, now we are at 15 million. So these are actually um, things that you can do against the word list file to actually have some sort of diversity and play with it even more. So you have one file or more files generated by those different tools that I've just shown you, and you want to add more diversity and increase your chances of hitting successful password. You can add these substitutions here, the you know the uh, prepend. You can add cases and everything like that. So that's the tool, and then what you can do is load or save. So you can just save that, and it's going to save these settings and everything else. You can click process, and the process option will give you the full word list, which means that it's just going to generate the file. Base word list, which is just going to be this one that we have here, and then a hashcat John rules, which we don't want to use at the moment, but that's something else that could be useful for you if you're into that. Just research that functionality. That's not going to generate that bigger file, so keep that in mind. So we just use full word list. We're going to use the root folder full.txt, my bad, txt, and it's just going to generate that file. And as we can see, it's pretty fast. So let's just give it a couple of seconds and see if we can read that file and see what we have there. It should be 15 something million words. So I'm just going to check that and confirm that that's the size of it. Okay, the processing is complete. Let's just move forward and see the file itself if it's what we were expecting. Um, one step back, word count minus w, and then what was the file name? Full.txt. Okay, it's reading. It should give me this number here. 100 and it's a lot smaller. Uh, that's the estimated word count and size, but it actually generated less than that. And let me just see what we have. We don't need that full. Okay, so we have numbers again. That's playing with the numbers for that birth dates and everything. That's going to take some time. Let me just jump to the end of the file. So again, we have played with numbers, digits, and letters, as I can see here. Adding some, and we also see some capital or some lowercase. Actually, these are lowercase only. Here we have a uppercase Y. So it's playing different options here. Definitely bigger file than what we had before. So this is something that can add more information, more diversity. And the other thing that I'm going to show you here is another tool that's called Insta Shell. It is a tool that's it's promising to actually help you hit that Instagram profile. That's the GitHub repository again. and I closed my terminal again. That's the one. So no, just clone that. This is what the tool is. Let me just download it and now run it and show it to you. It has some sort of installation. It's a shell script. So git clone. My bad. Git clone. I had something else copied. Now paste that. And we'll go through the installation here. So change directory to inst shell and then make the executable install shell.sh service. We have, if we have Tor, we can start it this way. I don't think we have Tor on this machine, but this is just as anonymity. So the last thing you can do is install. They're using sudo. I'm just root, so I don't need that. So to run that, you need to run it with Tor. The idea of this tool here is that you provide the username account, enter the password list, enter the default list. So you can provide it with the password list and the username. Here is the password list, as you can see here, and it start attempting login attempts, and it's basically looking for the password. If the password is found, it's going to print that out and let you know the results. So that's pretty much that tool that I wanted to show you, but I don't have Tor. It should be working fine. I didn't want to run it against Instagram in any case, so this is just, as I said, proof of concept. Keep that in mind. This is the tool that you can use. So I hope you like this video. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.